Today, we are going to flood yourself with positivity, warmth, soothing phrases, and really make sure you build up momentum of healing and joy and light and positivity and all this warmth so that you can really take a negative feeling where you're feeling urges and all this craving and it's intense and it's scary, and we're going to be able to go through a 4-step process where you really soothe yourself and calm down. The 4 steps, these all build on previous skills and concepts that we have been discussing before, but we're going to go through these 4 steps right now. It's called Step 1, expressing unconditional acceptance of internal experiences. Step 2, offer understanding of internal experiences. Step 3, remind and reassure. Inform your feeling self that your inner nurturer is on the scene and ready to help. Step 4, offer love and support. Here's where the flooding comes in. Offer love and support. Flood your feeling self with loving and supportive phrases. So we have to remember that their brain is divided up into roughly 3 different categories. So the first part of your brain, it's the top layer of your skull. It's right close to the top of your head. It's called your neocortex or your prefrontal cortex. It's also referred to as your left brain. And that's the brain that thinks, that's the brain that plans, it's the brain where we identify most as. And then underneath that brain, we have the limbic brain, the monkey brain, the emotional brain. And then underneath that, we have the amygdala. We have the primal reptilian brain. And so essentially, the reptilian brain at the very core, at the base of your spine, in the center of your brain, and the emotional brain, which is most of the brain except for the top part, the limbic, the emotional, and the reptilian, that makes up your feeling self, okay? That's your feeling self. And so as we go through these 4 different phrases, these 4 different steps, they're all directed to the feeling self. It's really, really important. We all have an inner feeling self that sometimes is not accessible through thinking. It's like we have 3 different brains inside your skull. The thinking brain is up here, the feeling brain is down here, and then you got this reptile reflex brain in the center. So these 4 steps, make sure that you're talking to your feeling self, okay? So this word I used, inner nurturer, when you go through these 4 steps and you talk to your feeling self, you are the inner nurturer. You are nurturing, supporting, and loving your feeling brain, okay? Now, how this goes is you go through all 4 steps at once, and I'm going to read a list of phrases that you can say for each step. And the point of this is so that you build up momentum. You first sit down and you express unconditional acceptance of internal experiences. You might say to your feeling brain, you kind of talk to yourself a little bit. You might say to your feeling brain, it's okay to be upset. It's all right to have these feelings. All emotions are valid. It's okay to show your emotions. It's perfectly okay to feel this way. And then as you go through these 4 steps, make sure you also practice soothing gestures. You could grab a pillow. You could massage your shoulders. You could kind of wipe your brow, or you could squeeze the shoulders and roll the shoulders. Put your hand on your heart. That's something we've covered before. You can clasp the hands. You can pray. You can give yourself a hug. You can pat yourself on the back. You can tap lightly on your temples. So this is the 4 steps that we go through when you're in the midst of a really difficult emotion. We sit down, we get somewhere still, we soothe ourselves, put your hand on your heart, we touch ourselves somewhere kind of gently, and then we go through these 4 steps where we say these things to our feeling self. We say them calmly, in that calm tone of voice that we have practiced. We feel the emotions in our body using the acceptance that we've practiced, okay? So let's go into step 2. I will review step 1 real quick just because I said step 1 just a second ago, but I'll go through the next 4 steps. I'll put them all in order right now. Step 1 is expressing unconditional acceptance for internal experiences. So we feel that emotion. It's okay to be upset. It's perfectly okay to feel this way. All feelings are acceptable. Feelings convey important information. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to feel tense and jittery. Yes, this situation is unsettling. It's all right to feel shaky. You get it. And then we offer understanding. So oftentimes, when we think about what we really need in life, it's for someone to understand us. Your feeling brain is feeling lost and confused, and it just needs to be heard and seen and acknowledged. And in this lesson right here, we realize that we can give ourselves the understanding and acknowledgement and self-validation that the feeling self needs. So step 2 is offer understanding of internal experiences. So this is, you might say stuff like this, where like, it makes sense that you're feeling this way. I hear you. I see how you could feel that way. I understand how difficult this is for you. This is a big deal. It's understandable that you'd feel concerned. It's natural for your heart to be racing after a confrontation. Given what you've been through, it's natural to feel this way. That news was shocking. Of course you're feeling numb. Anger does sound appropriate when someone attacks you. So in this stage right here, in this step right here, we might say other things like, it makes sense to feel that way about a situation. I can understand why you're thinking that. So the first step, these are subtle little nuances, but remember, we're building momentum. So each step is a little bit different, but the overall intention is to say these phrases to yourself. And by offering acceptance, it's okay to feel that. Offering understanding, I understand why you're feeling that. That's perfectly reasonable for you to be feeling that way. I get it. We start building momentum. And then the third step, remind and reassure. Inform your feeling self that your inner nurturer is on the scene and ready to help. You say things like this, I'm here with you now. Everything's going to be okay. You are never alone. I am here with you. I've got your back. I'm here to help. You are always safe with me. And by the way, this might sound a little weird. Like you can imagine yourself sitting down and like talking to yourself. Like, hey there, honey, it's okay. Hey there, bud. You know, you're like talking to yourself essentially. And it might be a little weird, but this is rewiring your brain to, instead of reject, to instead of avoid, to instead of judge, you're offering acceptance, understanding, and now you're reassuring. It's going to be okay. It's okay to feel that way. I understand why you feel that way. It's going to be okay. Now, as a little bonus in this step right here, you can also grab those lists of resources that we developed in the previous video. Remember how you came up with a list of internal resources and a list of external resources? External resources included community, friends, family, various different groups. Internal resources included spirituality, creativity, cognitive thinking, and so forth. We can read these lists. Hey, bud, it's going to be okay. You got your friends by your side. Hey, girl, it's going to be all right. You got an ability to care for others. It's going to be okay. And then lastly, the fourth step, offer love and support. And remember, throughout this whole time, you're still like, you can tap yourself on the temple, your hand is on your heart, you might be kind of giving yourself a little shoulder massage. You can just put your hand on your belly, but that might be a little triggering, but hand on the heart was good, hand on the neck might be okay. You can put your hand on your neck, you could wring your hands, you could wipe your brow with a cool towel, self-hug. So step 4 is offer love and support. This is the key word, flood. Flood yourself with loving and supportive phrases. So we've been building up momentum. We're flooding ourselves. So we've sat down with the negative emotion. We've offered acceptance, understanding, reassurance, and now we're just giving love. I love and care about you. I love you just as you are. I will never leave you. I will never abandon you. My love and care for you are unconditional. Did I tell you how important you are to me? Things like that. I believe in you. You're incredible. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of these phrases, they might sound a little corny to you. So you don't have to use these exact phrases. You can just pick a few that feel right to you. Just pick a few that kind of resonate, that follow the general path of acceptance, understanding, reassurance, and love. And by going through and sitting down, feeling the negative emotion, soothing yourself, getting a few minutes to gather yourself, and going through and saying these words to your feeling self. Remember, it's important. Your feeling self communicates by feeling, okay? Communicates by feeling. So just saying these words, like just reading them off a note card and going, I like you, I accept how you feel. You know, you have to say them emotionally. It's like you sing them almost. And you say them to your feeling self, the part of your brain that is feeling. So you have to say them to your brain in a feeling way. If you just read a list and just scan it briefly with your eyes, this isn't going to work. You actually need to sit down, and you don't need to read them out loud, but you actually need to either read them quietly or read them slightly aloud to yourself, quietly aloud, and you gotta put some emotion in your voice. You can always count on me. You gotta pick the phrases that work for you, but you say, hey, it's okay to be upset. Listen to my tone of voice. It's okay to be upset. That's the acceptance. I understand why you're feeling that way. I would feel the same way. That's perfectly natural for you to feel that way. In a tough situation, you're bound to feel like frazzled. But I'm here for you right now. I am here for you right now. I am. I really am. And I freaking love you. I freaking love you. I am here. We are one. Remember that you're talking to yourself, so you literally are one. We are one. I am your partner in crime. I am here for you. And you build up momentum, right? You string together these phrases. And my gosh, if you also have those lists of resources available, you read your resources. I do have that. I do have that. I do have this resource available. I do have this skill and strength. I do have this friend and community group. This is oh man, this is like such a powerful way. Like the flooding. This is how you flood. It's like they say a negative emotion is 6 times more sticky than a positive emotion, that we evolved to react and respond to negative emotions way more than positive emotions. So it basically means we have to do like a lot of positive emotions to counteract those negative emotions. And if you got a really strong negative emotion where you're like, it's going to take a lot of positive phrases and thoughts to rebalance it. One strong negative emotion is going to take like 10, 15, 20 positive phrases to rebalance it. So that's why we flood. We kind of build up a momentum. We say them, we're soothing ourselves at the same time, and we're flooding ourselves. And the point of this is to literally shift your brain, your emotions, your soul state from one of deprivation and fear and contraction and shame and judgment and confusion to being like, oh yeah, it's okay to feel this way. I got support, and this is felt support. I got support within me, and I got resources around me. Life ain't so bad. I can handle it. And just getting in that state of mind. So we want to be in a state of mind where we can make a wise decision. Because the whole point of this is to calm down. The whole point of this is not only get like calm, but like to feel good. Like it's to feel good. And when you feel good, you can make a wise decision. What do I need right now? Okay, looks like I need to get sleep. I need to eat some food. I need to, respond and say this thing to that person in this way. I need to give my brain a break from thinking. I need to have some fun. I need to stop working so hard. You're able to get into a state of mind where like the right decision on what you should do to meet your goals and be happy and all this stuff, it's easy to understand, right? It's easy to understand the right thing to do. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to flood ourselves so we get into a state of mind where we understand what the right thing to do is. And you understand so far how to do this. Come up with a list of phrases that accept, offer understanding, that reassure you, and express love to your feeling self. And make sure you can say these phrases with a little bit of emotion, where it feels genuine. And then remember those resource lists, because where we're going in the next video is we're going to combine all this stuff together and actually create a safe abode. But more on that in another video. We'll get to that when the time comes. Anyways, that's it. Have a good day. Peace.